Hello and welcome once again to Mr. Taofeek's Maths and Econs channel. So the aim of this channel is to help you achieve excellence in your maths and economics exams. As you already know, I'm now going through question 21 to 30. There are previous videos that have covered question 1 to 10, 11 to 20. Please, if you haven't seen this video, make sure you see them. Okay, make sure you watch these videos. The reason is because every video has sections. Okay, so we have 5 sections for every math video because these 5 sections are the sections in your JAMB syllabus. So we make sure that we pick 2 questions, okay, from each section, and we have had varieties of questions from each section, essentially preparing you for what, for excellence in your exams. So you want to ensure that you have watched these ones as well. Apart from this, watch the other ones so that you can see different varieties of questions that can be asked in each section of your math exam, your JAMB syllabus. Okay, so that being said, let's get right into today's questions. The first question in the number enumeration section, the question says the sum of 4 numbers is 1, 2, 1, 4 base 5. What is the average expressed in base 5? So what is the average of 4 numbers? So we know average is more or less like mean, and our formula for mean is equal to what? Sum of all the items divided by the number of items. So in this case, the sum of all the items is 1, 2, 1, 4 base 5 divided by number of items. We have just 4 numbers, right? So there are a number of ways to do this, but the way I would do it, because I think that's going to be the fastest for most people, is that since this 4 is in base 10, as you can see, it's in base 10. How do I know it's in base 10? Because we're being told 4 numbers are added. So naturally, we work with base 10 in maths, okay? 1, 2, 1, 5 base 1, 2, 1, 4 base 5 should be converted to base 10. And to convert 1, 2, 1, 4 base 5 to base 10, you know, the first thing to do is to what? Label the power from the right to the left, starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the next thing is what? You multiply each of the numbers by the what? By the power. 0, 1, 2. I meant 0, 1, 2, and 3. This is meant to be 3. This is meant to be 3. Okay, so 1 times 5 to the power of 3 plus 2 times 5 to the power of 2 plus 1 times 5 to the power of 1, and then the last one, which is 4, plus 4 times 5 to the power of 0. So this is going to give us 5 to the power of 3 is 125. 125 times 1 is 125. Plus 5 squared is 25 times 2, that's 50. Plus 5 to the power of 1, which is 5. 1 times 5, which is 5. 5 to the power of 0, which is 1. 1 times 4, which is 4. And that simply gives us 125 plus 50. That gives us 175 plus 5. That's 180 plus 4. That's 184. So this is 184 in base 10. Okay, so what to divide by? 4 in base 10 in order to find the average. So 184 divided by 4. 4 in 18, that should be 16. 4 goes in 18 how many times? That will be 4 times, remainder 2. 4 goes in 24, that will be 6. So we have 46 base 10. So 46 base 10 will now be converted to base 5 because the answer should be in base 5. So that's the next thing to do. So we have this and this. So we have 46. To convert from base 10 to base 5, you basically divide by that base, which is 5. So 5 in 4, that's 0. 5 in 46, I think that will be 9 with a remainder of 1, right? Because 5 times 9 is 45, yeah. Then 5 in 9, that will be 1, remainder 4, correct? And then 5 in 1, 0, remainder 1. And remember that you always go upwards in order to get your answer. So that will be 1, 4, 1. You basically look at the remainder and then you go upward, 1, 4, 1, base 5. So that's the answer to this question, and that is option A. All right, that's the first question on numbers and numeration. Let's go to the second one on number and numeration, which is the classical logarithm. Okay. So what is this question asking us? This logarithm question is saying that we should evaluate log 4, okay, base root 2 plus log 16 base half, take away log 32 base 4. Okay, so this is basically simplification of log, and the most important simplification here is to remember that what we just want to achieve for each of the question is that log of a number to the same base is always equal to 1, right? Log of 5 to base 5 is equal to 1. So that's the most important thing here. So we have to make sure that every logarithm, the number of every logarithm and the base of that logarithm are basically the same. That is how to simplify that. So starting with the first one, we have log of 4 to the base of root 2, okay, plus log of 16 to the base of 1 over 2 minus log of 32 to the base of what? To the base of 4. Now the two logarithm rules we're going to use mostly here is that the first one is going to be the logarithm law that says that log of x to a power can be written as what? The power times the logarithm, right? Then the second one that I'm going to use is that when you now have logarithm, okay, let's call this one base A. So when you now have logarithm to a, let's say, a fractional logarithm, a logarithm of x rather, and then the base of the logarithm is now a fraction. Okay, is a fraction, which you can now write as a power of something. So let's say it has 2 to the power of n, for example. So if the power is with the base, what you're supposed to do is what? You see that base now. You know, if the power is with a number, we just multiply the logarithm by that number, right? But here, if the power is with the base, we multiply the logarithm by the reciprocal of the power of the base. So the base has a power of n. The reciprocal of n is 1 over n. So multiply the logarithm by 1 over n, log x, excuse me, log x base 2. So the power is gone. Where did it go to? It's now multiplying the log, but this time it has to be reciprocal. So there are 2 things you need to keep in mind. Now, starting with the first one, this is going to be, we can rewrite this as log of what? Of log 4 base 2 to the power of half, because root of something, we've done this in the previous question. So in indices, root of a can be written as a to the power of 1 over 2, okay, and so on and so forth. So that way, and then plus log 16 2 to the power of minus a half, right? Take away log 32 to base 2 to the power of 2. Now, why am I even changing the bases to 2? Why am I like writing everything in terms of 2 for the bases? Because I know that's what the numbers as well can be written as 2 to the power of something, which should basically help us achieve what? Logarithm of the same base and number. So now this will now be, remember we said reciprocal. So this half, the half we have here, okay, in this power, we then go and multiply the logarithm. However, it's going to be the reciprocal that would what? That would multiply the logarithm. So the reciprocal of the half is 2, so that will be log 2 log 4 base 2, and I can write this 4 as 2 to the power of 2. Don't forget there is a base 2, plus this here, reciprocal of minus 1 is minus 1, so it remains minus. So the minus go there, minus log 16 can be written as 2 to the power of 4, and then base 2, and then minus, and then there's going to be, this one goes there, it's going to be a half, okay, and then we're going to have log 32, sorry, I can write 32 as what? As 2 to the power of 5, right? So 32 as 2 to the power of 5, that gives us what? That gives us 2 to the power of 5, and then we have our base 2. So that being said, these powers now, we now apply the first rule here. The power now multiplies the logarithm. So 2 comes down, so multiply the logarithm, that's going to become 4 log 2 base 2. Then this also comes here to multiply. Then there's a minus and plus here. Minus times plus is minus. Then the 4 comes down to become minus 4 log 2 base 2, and then take away. Lastly, 5 comes down to multiply the number there. So we're going to have minus 5 over 2, because 1 over 2 times 5 is 5 over 2, and then log 2 base 2. So you can see everything is now log 2 base 2, log 2 base 2. So log 2 base 2, they are all going to be 1. So therefore, if this is 1, what we have left is what? We're going to have just, need a bit of space. So what we're going to have left for the first, so log 2 base 2 is 4. So that gives us 4. Take away, log 2 base 2 is also 4, take away 4, and then take away, log 2 base 2 is 1, take away 5, all over 2. So 4 minus 4, that cancels out to be 0, minus 5 over 2, which is minus 2.5, and that is the answer. So question 22, the answer is negative 2.5, and that is option A, right? Option A. Okay, that's all for numbers and numeration for this one. Now let's go to algebra. Now the first question in our algebra today is matrices, right? Matrices, which is the plural of matrix. So the question is now saying that if the determinant of minus x2 4x1 is equal to the determinant of 3x4 minus 5, find the value of x. So in matrices, you know that if I have matrix A to be A, B, C, and D, okay, the determinant of that matrix is going to be written as, there's going to be like 2 strokes, okay, 2 vertical lines, so A, B, C, D. So this is how to write the determinant, okay? And how do you find determinant? Very easy. Let's try out the question. We have this, which is minus x, 4x, 2, 1. The determinant of that matrix is equal to the determinant of this matrix, which is 3, 3x, 4, and then minus 5. So how do you work out determinant? Very easy. To work out determinant, all you have to do is what? Multiply the element along the principal diagonal. So there's something called the principal diagonal. So any element along this part is called the what? The principal diagonal, okay? This is called the ordinary diagonal. So you multiply the element along the principal diagonal, so x times 1, and then you take away the product of what? The element along the other diagonal, okay? So that means on this side we're going to have minus x times 1, okay? And then you take away 4x times 2. So that gives us 4x times 2, and the total is equal to 3 times minus 5. Make sure you always multiply the element along the principal diagonal. Okay, 3 times minus 5, take away what? 4 times 3x. So that's said, what are we going to have? Minus x times 1 is minus x, take away 4x times 2, that is 8x, equal to 3 times minus 5 is minus 15, and then take away 4 times 3, that is 12x. Minus x minus 8x, that will be minus 9x plus 12x, which is equal to minus 15. So minus 9x plus 12x, that's going to be 3x equals to minus 15. Divide both sides by 3, mathematics, and then x is going to be minus 5, right? Because if you divide minus 15 by 3, you get minus 5. So yeah, that's the answer, and answer is option B. So that's determinant question very quickly. Okay, question number 24. We're told that 3 consecutive terms of a geometric progression are given as n minus 2 and n plus 3. Find the common ratio. Okay. Common ratio. So if you have a geometric progression, say for example you have u1, u2, u3, u4, and so on. To find the common ratio, all you have to do is take a term and divide by the immediate previous term. So this is to find your common ratio, u2 divided by u1, which is also the same thing as doing your u3 divided by u2, third term divided by second term, fourth term divided by third term, and so on and so forth. So your common ratio is taking a term and dividing it by the immediate previous term. And you basically have to be using consecutive terms, terms that follow one another. So the question here says that n minus 2, n, and what n plus 3 are consecutive terms. What does that mean? It means that if I want to find my common ratio, since they are consecutive terms, they are following each other. Maybe this is u2, u3, u4, or u4, u5, u6. To find my common ratio, I can just do n over n take away 2. Or I can do my common ratio is equal to n plus 3 divided by the previous term, which is n. In any case, both of them are equal because they both work out the common ratio. So n over n minus 2 can be equated to n plus 3 over n. So if I cross multiply, n times n squared, which is equal to n plus 3 multiplying what? N minus 2. Expanding the double bracket, n times n, that is n squared. N times minus 2, that is minus 2n. 3 times n plus 3n. 3 times minus 2, that's minus 6. So n squared is equal to minus 6. N squared can cancel n squared on both sides. 0 is equal to minus 2n plus 3n minus 6, which is, if I bring my minus 6 on the other side, becomes 6. Minus 2 plus 3 becomes 1. So n is equal to 6. So if n is equal to 6, that's not my answer. That's not the answer to the question. The question actually wants us to work out what? To work out the common ratio. So remember, the expression, the equation we wrote for the common ratio is r is equal to n over n minus 2, or the other one. So choose anyone. We said n is 6, so that will be 6 divided by 6 minus 2, which is 6 divided by 4, which is going to be 3 over 2, which is 1.5. Our answer is B. And if you like, you can substitute here. They are the same like we said. 6 plus 3 over 6. That will give you what? 9 over 6. And if you reduce that, you still get 3 over 2. All right. So that brings us to the end of algebra. Now we are moving straight to trigonometry and geometry. I hope you're enjoying this because I'm really enjoying it. All right. Question number 25. A hunter, which is 1.6 meter tall, views a bird on top of a tree at an angle of 45 degrees. We know that's angle of elevation because the hunter will have to look at the bird at the top of the tree. If the distance between the hunter and the tree is 10.4 meters, find the height of the tree. Okay, so we have to sketch this, right? Because at the end of the day, it forms a right angle triangle anyway. So a hunter, this is a man, the hunter, which is 1.6 meters tall, is looking at a bird on top of a tree. So let's say this is a tree. Of course, the tree and the man are going to be on the same ground. So, and this is now the bird on the tree. Okay, so this is the bird on top of the tree. So this hunter, which is 1.6 meters tall, is now looking at what? Is looking at the bird on that tree at an angle of 45. So this is a normal eyesight. This horizontal line I've just drawn is a normal eyesight. The angle between the normal sight level of sight and the angle at which is looking at the bird, which is the angle of elevation, so which is 45 degrees. Don't forget they are on the same horizontal ground. Now the question then says that the distance between the hunter and the tree is 10.4. So the hunter 10.4 meters. This is also going to be 10.4 meters. So the question now says we should work out the height of the tree. So the height of the tree is like the distance down here, everything here. So from here to here, let's call that h. That's what we're looking for. So how do we find that? So all we have to do is just work out these parts, the parts of the tree, the parts of the height of the tree that is above what? The height of the hunter, which is from here to here. We can just call that x. So to work out x, which is just the length of the part of the tree that is above the height of the man. So we can redraw our triangle. So we have 45 degrees, we have x, and we have 10.4. So this is trigonometry, and this is particularly SOHCAHTOA. So you need to remember your SOHCAH and TOA. So this is our SOHCAHTOA. So which of the secateurs do we use in this case? So to know which one to use, what I love to do is just quickly do a quick label. This is the opposite because it's like opposite the angle. So any side opposite the angle you're giving is going to be your opposite. And then the hypotenuse is always the longest side, like everybody know, or the side that faces what? Or that is the side that faces the right angle. That's our hypotenuse. And finally, our adjacent, which is the last one. So to know which of the secateurs to use, I just look at what I'm trying to look for. I'm trying to look for x, which is the opposite, and I'm given the adjacent. So I have OA, right? So which of the secateurs contains OA? Definitely it is what? TOA, right? And TOA simply means tan of the angle, tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. In this case, that's going to be tan of the angle, tan 45 degrees, because the angle is 45, is equal to the opposite x over the adjacent 10.4. So what is tan 45? Tan 45 is basically 1, which is equal to x over 10.4. Cross multiply, s is going to be 1 times 10.4, which is 10.4. So the height of these parts of the tree above the onta is what? Is 10.4 meters. Then don't forget the height of the man himself, which is from here to here, is just 1.6 meter. So the entire height of the tree, which we call h, the entire height of the tree, which we call h, which is from here to here, okay, from this point to this point, all right. So that's going to be the height of the hunter, which is 1.6 meters, plus the height of the tree that is above the height of the man, which is 10.4 meters. And our answer would be 1.6 plus 10.4. I'm guessing that will be 12 meters, and that is the height of the tree. Option D. Okay. Before we move on, I'd like to mention, I said tan 45 is 1. In JAMB Math, you're expected to know your trig values for special angles. Okay, so make sure you know these trig values. So make sure you know this angle: 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, and 90 degrees. So for sine, 0 degrees, 0, sine 30 is a half, sine 45 is root 2 over 2, cos 60 is root 3 over 2, and cos 90, sine 90 is 1. So sine, this is all sine. Sine 45 is root 2 over 2, sine 60. Now for cosine, it's just the opposite. Cosine goes in the opposite direction. So cosine starts from the last value of the sine. So this is going to be 1, this is going to be root 3 over 2, this is going to be the same as the sine, this is going to be a half, and this is going to be 0. Just the reverse, okay? And lastly, we have our tangent. So this one is probably the trickiest. Tan 45 is 1, that's the easiest to know. Tan 0 is 0, tan 90 is infinity, and then this remaining 2. So the trick here is that anytime you want to do your tan, so tan of anything, just divide your sine by your cosine, okay? So sine 60, which is root 3 over 2 divided by cos 60 to get tan 60. So root 3 over 2 divided by 1/2, that's going to be root 3 over 2 times 2 over 1. Those will cancel, so the answer is root 3. And then this one, the same thing. 1 over 2 times root 3 over 2, that will become 1 over 2 times 2 over root 3, that will be 1 over 3. 1 over 3 will be root 3 over 3. Or you can say 1 over root 3, but this is the best form. So these are your special angles. You need to know these angles by heart. JAMB expects you to know them because you can actually be giving questions on them. Alright, so that is basically that about the question on trigonometry. I'm just going to move this up a little bit so we can have some space for the next question. Okay, moving on to question 26. We're still on geometry and trigonometry, don't forget. Still on geometry and trigonometry, don't forget. All right, so question 26. This is circle theorem. Wow, this is one of my favorite subjects. I know students don't generally like it, but it's one of my favorites, and I like it because it's very tactical. You really have to think quite a lot about the question. So we have a question here about circle theorem, and what are we told to do? Just zooming in a little bit more. Okay, the question says, in the diagram above, O is the center of the circle, so we can see that O. Then POM is the diameter. Okay, POM is the diameter. Okay, and angle M and Q, angle M and Q, M, N, and Q. So this angle over here is 42. Calculate QMP. So the first thing to do is to locate the angle you want to calculate. That's the first thing. That's the most important thing. So I want to calculate QMP. Q, M, and P. Okay, so I know the angle I want to calculate, which is this angle. All right. So knowing that fact, what do I do? We have to combine a number of circle theorems. So the first thing is to remember is angles in the same segment are equal. So 42, angle N over here and angle P over here are in the same segment. As you can see that this is a chord here. So this is one segment, and every other part there's another segment. So these two angles are in the same segment. So this angle over here is also going to be 42 degrees. Now I'm looking for this angle, and I was told that MP is a semicircle. And remember that whenever you have a diameter, we can have what angle in a semicircle, which means this place is 90 degrees. And if this place is 90 degrees, for me to get this one, I will just do what? 90, take away, so QMP, angle QMP is going to be 90 degrees, take away what? Take away 42 degrees. Okay, take away 42 degrees, and my answer is clearly 48 degrees. So option D. And that's the answer. Wow, that's actually very straight to the point, easy. Okay, so that's question 26. Without wasting time, let's go on to calculus. Woo, my favorite. Now, calculus. A circle with radius 5 centimeter has its radius increasing at the rate of 0.2 centimeter per second. What is the corresponding increase in the area? Now, this is called rate of change, and rate of change is just the application of differentiation. Okay, one of the applications of differentiation. So a circle with a radius 5 centimeter has a radius increasing, this is very important, increasing at the rate of what? At the rate of 0.2 centimeter per second. So you see, whenever they tell you something is increasing at a particular kilometer per second, at a particular rate per second, you should know that that rate of change is with time. So the radius is changing with respect to time. So that will be dr over dt, change in radius over change in time, which is what? 0.2. Okay, then the question then tells you what is the corresponding what is the corresponding increase in the area. So corresponding increase in the area is referring to change in area with respect to change in time. So we are asked to look for dA dt. What were we given in the question? The most tactical way to solve this question is just look out for what you were given in the question. We were given dr over what? Over dt. Multiply. So you now ask yourself, what do I multiply by dr dt so that I can get dA dt, which I'm told to look for dA dt. What do I multiply by dr dt so I can get dA dt? And you have to think about it. So I have to have dA in the numerator divided by something that will cancel this dr, so I have to put dr there. In the question now, we are already given dr dt. All we have to find now is the ADR. In order to find the ADT, we need to find the ADR. So to find the ADR, that is change in area with respect to radius. So what is the formula connecting area of a circle and the radius? Obviously, the area of a circle is pi r squared. So this is the formula. So differentiate the ADR, which is the same thing as what you know already. So multiply by the power 2 pi r and take away 1 from the what? Take away 1 from the power. So 2 minus 1 is 2. So this is just 2 pi r. So the ADR when radius is 5, when the radius is 5, because they told us the radius is 5 centimeters. So the ADR when the radius is 5 is going to be 2 times pi times 10, and that's going to be what? 2 times pi times 5, and that will be 10 pi. Okay, so the ADR when radius is 5 is 10 pi. So therefore, our rate of change of the area with respect to time, which is the ADT, is going to be the RDT, which is 0.2 times the ADR, which is what? 10 pi. Okay, and 0.2 times 10 pi. Mathematically, we know that's just going to be 2 pi, because this 1 0 will move your decimal point forward by 1, so you have 2 pi. So 2 pi is the answer, and the answer is C. I believe this is actually meant to be pi, so they meant 2 pi. So yeah, the answer is C, and that's how to work out your what? Your connected rate of change. They will always give you something. They will give you a particular rate of change, just as we were given in the question. They will now tell you to find a particular rate of change. Just write a particular rate of change equal to the rate of change you're already given in the question, and then think about what do I multiply by what I'm already given in the question so that I can have this result that they want me to find. And that's basically the trick around this rate of change. It's called rate of change, and it's an application of differentiation. All right, moving on to question 28. Well, this is getting interesting. Differentiation. If the y ds is equal to 2x minus 3, y is equal to 3 when x is equal to 0, find y in terms of x. So they have given us the gradient. They want to find the function. You know, when you have the function, to go from function to the, to the y ds function, you basically have to differentiate, right? Okay, you have to differentiate. So to go from a function of y equals f of x to the differentiation, you have to differentiate. So from here to here, we differentiate. To now go back to the function, you have to do the opposite of differentiation, which is what? Integration. So you have to integrate. So the function is going to be y is equal to the integral of what? 2x minus 3 dx. So when you integrate the gradient function, or the y dx, you go back to your function y. All right. So y is going to become integral of these. You know, integral is basically, if I want to integrate x to the power of n, it will be what? I will add 1 to the power x to the power of n plus 1, and I'll divide by the new power, and I'll add my c, right? Don't forget your c, because this is indefinite integral. So this is going to become 2x, add 1 to the power, that will be 2 divided by the new power, which is 2, minus, if I'm integrating a constant, you know, if I have y equals 3x, and I want to differentiate that, the y dx will just be 3, right? So if you now want to integrate 3, just bring back the x. So integral of 3 is just going to be 3x, and then add your what? Constant of integration. Simplifying this, you're going to have x squared minus 3x plus c. Now I need to find c, because in the option you can see there are no c. I need to find c. How do you find c? You make use of the what? You make use of the coordinates you are given. We're given that y is equal to 3 when x is equal to 0. So very quickly, to deal with that, substitute in your y, which is 3, and then x, which is 0. So I'll be 0 squared minus 3 times 0 plus c. So 3 is equal to c, so c is equal to 3. So therefore our equation is y is equal to x squared, take away 3x plus 3. That is the equation what to look for in terms of x and y, and that is option B. Okay, beautiful. Next, statistics. Permutation and combination. Finally, this is coming up now in our questions. Okay, if n permutation 3 is equal to 6 times n combination 4, which is everything is equal to 0. Okay, n permutation 3 minus 6 times n combination 4, which is equal to 0. Find the value of n. All right, so to find the value of n, what do? We basically remember the formula. N permutation r is basically n factorial divided by n minus p. N minus r factorial. Okay, when n combination r is n factorial divided by n minus r factorial, right? So let's apply that here. So the first one, n factorial divided by n minus 3 factorial. Take away 6 times n factorial divided by n minus 4 factorial times 4 factorial, which is equal to 0. So what can we do here? So what we can do, we can move this minus 6 to the other side just to make things work really fast. So n factorial over n minus 3 factorial is going to be equal to 6 into bracket n factorial divided by n minus 4. Okay, n minus 4 factorial. Then 4 factorial. 4 factorial just means 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. So times 24. And then the 6 here, 1 can cancel 6 here, which is what? 4. So we can have n factorial over n minus 3 factorial equal to n factorial over what? Over n minus 4 factorial. Now this is JAMB class. By now you should know that these two things can cancel out because we have the same equation. Okay, we have we have an equation, but on the left and the right side of this equation there are what? Single fractions. So that way the numerators can cancel, and likewise the denominator. But we need to rearrange this denominator to be the same, which we are going to do 1 over this n minus 3. We can write it as n minus 3. Okay, then n minus 4 factorial. The reason why is because we wanted to level up with the 1 on the right hand side, so that by the time we have that, we can divide. So 1 over n minus 4 factorial. So these can cancel this, and what do we have left? Simply have 1 over n minus 3 being equal to 1 over, don't forget there was a 4 here, you shouldn't forget about the 4, so the 4 is still there, and it's still there, so 1 over 4. So cross multiply, 4 is equal to n minus 3 times 1, which is n minus 3. So 4, bring your minus 3 here, 4 plus 3 is equal to n, and n is equal to 7. So our answer is option D. All right, I hope that finally that's clear. This is about factorial, which is of course our statistics. And last part of today's question, question 30. We were told in this question that 2 dice are thrown. What is the probability that the sum of the numbers is divisible by 3? So when 2 dice are thrown, you have to just quickly think about what are the outcome, right? What are all the possible outcomes that we can have? So when 2 dice are thrown, you can quickly draw your sample space diagram. When 2 dice are thrown, what's the probability that the sum of the number is divisible by 3? So our sample space diagram will quickly tell us all the possible outcomes when 2 dice are thrown. Okay, we have 1 die, the first die to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then the second die also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So which combinations can give us what? Can give us 3 outcomes. So what can give us 3 outcomes is this one, where you have 1. Let's call this the first die, and let's call this the second die. So the first die gives us 1, that one gives us that. Then which other combination can give us 3? So 2, 1 can also give us 3. Which other sum? Okay, the question is even divisible by 3. Okay, so we just need to quickly write out everything to see what's divisible by 3. So this is going to be 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 6, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4, 6, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, and 6, 6. So having all of that now, which of these now will give us? We have to circle those ones that their sum will be divisible by 3. So let's add up all these ones that their sum is divisible by 3. So starting with the first one, so let's go. We are looking for the ones that their sum will be divisible by 3. So this is 1. Okay, this is 4. This is 5. This is 6. 2. This is going to be 3. This is going to be 6. It's divisible by 3. 7, 8. No. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 5. This is 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's quickly count. How many are those? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 12. Divided by the total outcome. The total outcome, 6 by 6, that's 36. Total outcome is 36. That's 1 over 3. If you count, that's going to be answer. Option B. Okay. I hope that helps. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And also follow my tutorial channel on WhatsApp so that you can get updated on the latest videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.